Or it's in Charlton. Otherwise, I'm in the wrong pub, in the wrong place.
Could be.
Laura, do you want to come up? You have a representative, whoever's coming up? Sit right in front here. Could you just state your name for the record, please?
I'm Robert Shepard,
Yeah, and you are,
the contractor.
okay. And Laura, he's speaking on your behalf?
Yes.
Okay, so you want to tell us what you're proposing and why this board should grant a variance?
Well, we're proposing to build a new 10 by 12 shed on the side of a property. There was an existing shed there apparently before she had bought in the house, but I think the previous owners had torn it down. But given the lot size restraints, we don't really have the area to put the shed like within the proper setback, so that's why we're trying to get the variance. Excuse me.
The shed that was there prior to Laura owning it was quite a while ago.
Yeah, I think it was a few years ago.
She's owned it since, what, the 90s?
I don't,
Me?
how
No,
long have you owned the house?
last year.
Oh, she's only had it about
A
a year.
year, okay.
The flippers took it down again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, according to the building inspector, it was just taken down prior to Laura buying the property while the flippers were renovating.
So you want to put it on that,
It's that
Back
back
left
corner.
corner.
Yeah. Just on the back side of the driveway.
okay.
It's almost right where the existing, where the old shed was, sorry, but it's gonna, I was hoping to push it back a little bit further than the old shed was, because she wants to, do a little bit of drainage, reworking some drainage, so.
The Pine Road looks almost like a driveway.
I'm sorry.
Oh, do you want to just sit down with him?
Sure. Well, I was just telling him I have a neighbor here that's been there forever,
Okay.
so he has more information
He'll
than
get
me.
his chance. I'll let him- everyone can speak.
Excuse me.
Okay. So, it shows on the plan here that there's a road, Pine Road next to it. Is that actually
Yeah,
used?
it's not a real road. I think the people that live behind Laura sometimes use it as a driveway.
Okay.
But it's not like a real road that anybody really uses.
No, it was an old access road when they were building it, I was told.
It's on paper, though. It's a road.
It's on paper
Yeah.
as a road.
So it's a road.
It is a road,
Right.
yeah. But the shed, the new shed that I'm proposing wouldn't obstruct that road.
Okay. Gentlemen, anyone have any questions?
None at this time?
Rob? Garrett?
We got plans for a mudroom, but that's not part
Oh,
of it.
that's a different project.
So you're not asking for a mudroom?
No,
The plan
we-
shows location of a new mudroom. That, you're not asking for anything with that today, correct?
no,
Because the
no.
petition didn't have any of that in there.
No, we have a permit for a new mudroom, but we don't need a variance for that.
It's just mixed up, maybe. It's just mixed in there.
Jason, do you have any
No.
questions, concerns?
Doesn't look like there's any room anywhere to put it.
No, I mean, the shape of the lot is kind of a little bit odd. I mean, this plan shows a lot of the lots that are around this are smaller or different shapes. It is kind of an odd shape.
Yeah.
These are one of these, right off Glen Echo, you know, with the 50-foot lots for camps or whatever.
Yep.
And it looks like this was at least 3 or 4 lots that they put together. There really isn't a lot of room for a lot of stuff. The one thing that I think that we would ask for, because it's not like, with these sheds, is probably some sort of as-built when it's done for the location.
Yeah, we can
That's
do
the-
that.
Okay. Anybody have any other no questions for the petitioner at all?
Pretty straightforward. No?
You get a tough crowd. All right, does, So, do you wanna hear from the building, inspector or zoning enforcement officer first?
Mr. Chairman, Kurt Meskis, Building Commissioner, Zoning Enforcement Officer. If I may, the usual, on this side with like three. Start on, make sure I get Mary one on the side. Start over here with three over here.
Oh, we need one more for Shane.
Did I say?
I knew you'd forget me. Thank you, sir.
So as the petitioner has indicated, this house was just recently renovated about 2 years ago. Where it got bought by someone, they did some additions and renovations to it. There was a shed, a dilapidated shed on the property along that piece of property called Pine Road. As usual, the locust plan, shows the subject property. Page 2 shows the house, the blue house there with the house to the rear that they spoke of, and the driveway, and then this way along the side. 76 Park Road across the street, and 72 Park Road also across the street. As with these lake areas that were laid out in the 30s and 40s, none of these ways, except for Sunset Drive, has ever been accepted as a public way for the town of Charlton. So my understanding, and it's a very sometimes complex legal issue, is all the owners of that property, or the properties in there, have a fee in all the ways. They have a partial ownership in it. So for that Pine Road to be used for anything but a road, it would have to go to land court, and a finding of land court would have to be made that no one had any right to use that road. So these sort of just hang out forever.
Right.
I see that the applicant is asking for a 3-foot setback from that road. I would suggest that maybe 5 foot would be appropriate. It would sort of align with their driveway, would sort of be consistent with the previous shed that, as they show on their plan that came to us during the construction process. The shed that is now gone actually strayed into the way.
It looked that way.
Yeah. So, and as we know, in around the lakes, there's lots of lots, as I like to say, that are very small, pre-existing, non-conforming lots and crowded.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so, we'll call, just call, make a roll call of the boards here, so maybe from conservation, planning, assessors, board of health, tax collector, selectman, town clerk, economic development, senior center, Dudley Charlton School System, police, fire, any other board, commission have any comment or say? Any members of the public, abutters, anybody have anything that they want to say? You said you have a neighbor here.
Yes, he was just coming.
Do you wanna,
If I
do you
need
wanna
it.
come?
Just that there was, where she was building the shed there was an existing shed there for quite a long time.
So do you wanna just state your name and whether you,
William McCart, I'm the owner of 76 Park Road.
okay, and you are okay with the shed?
I'm fine with it.
Okay. Okay, anybody else?
They have to be on road.
No,
I have people on
any-
Osgood that,
Anybody that, is anybody here that has a comment or whatever?
they're from Osgood Road, the two in the back.
That's fine.
You can say you.
I have no issue with the shed, I all support.
You wanna just state your name for the record?
Mark Shampoo,
And you're,
90 Osgood Road,
and you're okay with the shed?
yes,
Okay.
yep.
All right, you guys have any other questions or anything? So wanna make a motion to end this portion, the public portion of the meeting?
Make a motion then.
The motion by Shane,
Second.
second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's ended. My two things would be this, is that, number one, I like 5 feet off of the line, just for maintenance. there is a road next to it, emergency purposes or something like that, and that if we grant a variance, that they provide an as-built to the building inspector / zoning enforcement officer that it was built where it is. And I think that Kurt is right, that this is these are all these small, odd-shaped lots that were summer camps at one point. There's no room to put anything. I don't think there's any issue with that at all.
I agree. On both accounts. 5
Okay.
feet,
Yep.
no hardship.
So,
So as long as there's no issue with moving it over the 2 feet?
No, that's fine.
so someone wants to make a motion, since there is all of us here tonight, I won't vote, and who are the two alternates right now? You're an alternate, and you're an alternate?
Yeah.
So you guys wanna switch off, or decide who wants to vote, and let you guys vote that way?
Okay.
Yeah, I'll make the motion. So, motion to grant the variance, 12 feet of relief for the southwest side yard setback. Excuse me, that'd be 10 feet of relief from the southwest side yard setback, 7 feet of relief from the rear yard setback,
Shown on the plan.
shown on the plan. Hardship being size and shape of the lot, really, with the size of that lot, you're not gonna conform to any of the setbacks, and you already put that on the current configuration. And with the requirement that an as-built is submitted after construction.
Is there a second on that motion?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay.
I did.
Shane second. So, there's a 20-day appeal period after it's filed. Once the 20 days is up, then you will, you can pick up the approval from the town clerk. And, the entire variance needs to be recorded at the registry of deeds.
Yep.
Bring that, and then to Kurt, once it's recorded.
Okay.
And then he'll do his thing.
Okay. Very good.
Okay, good luck.
All right, thank you very much.
Can I have, you guys should put your microphones back in the papers.
Oh,
Sorry about that.
no problem.
That was my fault.
Roll of thunder.
Next up, 2234A Partridge Hill Road, Eric and Shannon Dunnigan. Gentlemen, you state your name for the record?
Anthony Germano with LG Properties, contractor.
And you-
The homeowner, Eric Dunnigan?
Okay, do you want to tell us why you're here and why this board should grant you relief?
Sure thing. Thank you. The Dunnigans have owned and lived at this address since August of 2015. And like many of us post-COVID, with changes in the workplace, the Dunnigans work from their home. They have a growing family, and the space of the home continues to shrink as their family grows. So we've submitted a construction plan for permit that would take the roof off of the existing home, add a second floor, allowing bedrooms to be moved upstairs, freeing up existing bedroom space for work and play. We're here seeking a special permit as the current lot is a pre-existing non-conforming lot at 21,780 square feet versus the requirement of 60,000 square feet. The lot also lacks the required frontage of 175 square feet, as it is currently 85 feet. We've submitted the paperwork to the board and asked that you consider that the construction plan does not change the foundation of the home, does not change the length or the width of the building, does not change the usage of the space. And even the view from the road is basically unchanged, as there are two tall trees that stand between the street and the portion of the building that will have the second floor added, basically keeping the view from the street unchanged as well. And so we're suggesting that the addition of the second floor is no less or more detrimental than the existing non-conforming use of the home, and will continue to be will continue to remain and solely used as a single-family residence.
So you're not gonna increase the footprint of the garage or the main structure at all?
No.
You're just gonna go up?
Just gonna go up. No additional buildings, no additional foundation, no change to the envelope.
You don't have to tear the existing structure down and start from scratch or anything like that?
No, we can take the roof off, add the second floor over the existing space, and in fact, the dimensions of the second floor, it's 4621 in the existing building, so there's some kitchen space that does not have a second floor added to it.
So you're asking just for a special permit for this?
Correct.
You're not asking for, even though it doesn't meet the dimensional requirements, just a special permit for an extension of the existing use, right?
Correct.
Okay. Gentlemen, any questions right now?
Any houses across the street from you?
It's on a lake, so not across, but we have neighbors to the left and to the right.
Right, sort of left and right. probably.
Yep, yep.
What about direct, is the house sloped down as it gets to the water, so,
We sit up top, yeah, there's a nice slope to the water, if that's what you're asking.
so is the street level higher than what the house is right now?
Slightly.
Okay, so it's not a substantial slope from the street down to the lake?
It's
then?
not as severe as from the house to the lake.
What is the height of the house once you put the second floor on?
So the additional floor will have a ceiling of 8 feet, and then the gable on top of that, it'll be at least another 12 feet above where it is.
Are you still under the maximum for single, in our zone for,
36 feet?
I don't remember off the top of
I
my
thi- I
head.
think it's 30, yeah,
Yeah,
what's
we'd be well under 36 feet, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Our neighbor's property is monstrous compared to what this is going to be. So, yeah, if that's conforming, then I would imagine this would be as well.
okay, any
That's all I got.
Any questions? Gentlemen? All right, we'll call the building inspector, zoning enforcement officer.
Mr. Chairman, Kurt Meskis, Building Commissioner, Zoning Enforcement Officer. I think I got these separated out right this time. There you go, Mary.
Thank you.
Here, you want this?
No, I got this.
We've done a lot of these on this side of the lake, haven't we, Kurt? Or there's been a lot of remodels?
Well, given what we have here is we have a desirable lake location with a summer camp that probably, or an older building that may have been a summer camp at one time that got remodeled into a full-season house, and now they, wanna add a second floor to it. I'm sorry, as I sat here, I realized that I didn't blow this up as much as I usually do. I was showing the neighborhood. So, as you see, the locust plan, Partridge Hill Road comes down to the center of the drawing, and this is actually Baker Road. There are some numbering issues that the town will have to deal with. I sort of figured out what's going on. Some of these numbers are the old lake numbers for some of these houses, so. Anyway. Page 2, a picture of the modest home here and the driveway with the garage. Just to the right of the subject driveway is another driveway to 136, which is the house to the right of it. And to the left of it is 18 Baker Road, a house that was built in the past 20 years. I remember it being built and inspecting it. Once again, there are a number of small lots around this lake. Some of the larger lots around this lake are on this side, and as the gentleman asked, this would be a special permit to change, alter, or extend, finding that it's no more detrimental to the neighborhood. I wouldn't have a problem, stand up and say, I don't see where there is a detriment here. They're not blocking anyone's view, we don't have a view ordinance in Charlton anyway, and it's a modest addition for what's going on and what will probably continue to go on, given some of the other houses in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Seems pretty simple. Okay, we'll make a roll call of the other boards. Conservation, Planning Board, we've already heard from the Building Inspector, Board of Health, Assessors, Collector, Selectmen, Town Clerk, Economic Development, School Department, Police, Fire, DPW, any other board or commission, anybody have any comment on this petition? Any abutters, persons of interest, members of the public have any comments or issues? No? Okay. So I want to make a motion to end the public portion of this petition.
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. I don't, a lot of these houses on these lakes we've done, have done additions or whatever. I think the house next door to this is pretty big.
It is.
Yeah, so, I don't have a problem with it. So, the vote would be to grant a special permit, for, to put on a second floor on the existing structure without a change of the footprint, of the existing structures on the property, finding that, the addition, the alteration of the property, the extension and alteration is not detrimental to the neighborhood. That would be the standard that we would have to do. And I think that the house next door and other houses are similarly grown in size or whatever, that wouldn't be an issue. So you're voting this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
Who's making a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Eric makes the
Grant
motion.
Special permit to add the second floor and extend a pre-existing non-conformance, according to the plan submitted. Find that this is in harmony with the purpose and intent of the zoning bylaws, and that it will not adversely affect the neighborhood.
Is there a second on that?
Second.
Shane seconds that. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. I didn't vote. He Mark voted.
Mark on that one.
Yeah. Congratulations, 20-day appeal period. Once it's done, you want to file the entire special permit at the Registry of Deeds, bring in the recorded permit to Kirk, and we'll move forward from there. Good luck, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's move all this out of the way. This is gonna be all right. All right, Mary Ann Scott Stone, 6 Gale Road. Can you state your name for the record, please?
I'm Stephen Brissett from Topin Land Survey, I'm one of the project engineers.
And I'm Mary Stone.
Okay. Do you want to tell this board what you want to do and why we should grant you relief?
Okay, we're here before the board because we would like to subdivide her property. She has a 19-acre piece between herself and her in-laws that they would like to divide into 4 lots. 3 of the lots being rear lots, reduced frontage lots, and use a common driveway for all 4. Currently, there's 2 lots. They have a common driveway with a wetland crossing. They've been before the Conservation Commission and proposed to put in a second driveway so that we could have 2 and 2. That was not looked on favorably at all. The Conservation Commission says that it had great impacts and great costs to do it, if it was even permissible in the first place. The land itself, you know, it size-wise works for the rear lot development the way we want to do it. It's just the fact of the common driveway issue going on to the site. The use of the 2 lots would be for the daughters. You know, with this ever-expanding extended family living situations, this property works out ideally for that. We talked to town planning relative relative to possibly subdivision, flexible development. And he, in his own words, Randy Benson, suggested that we go this route and see if we couldn't entertain getting the variance for the access. Kurt has reviewed it. Kurt has said a variance could be issued that it would require that, and we are here before you for that.
So, I'm looking at this, there's an existing shared driveway,
Yes.
and there's a proposed shared driveway. If we grant the variance, are you removing the existing shared driveway, so there'd be
No.
one, so there'd be two shared driveways?
No, I think what you have in front of you right there is you're looking at the alternative plan that we had submitted to the conservation showing the two driveways, that they in turn have provided us with a letter addressed to the board, I believe, regarding how unfavorable they are of that layout.
Do you
So
have
the
the?
smaller copy was the first plan,
Right.
and then when it was rejected by the state, we, had to draw up the second plan. And-
Which should be a larger scale drawing that you have.
Do you have the required area for the wetland reclamation? Is
Yes.
that why they won't give it to you, or you have?
Well, what they're saying is between
one right
the
here?
combination of the parent parcel, the original crossing, the widening of that to an 18-foot common driveway, with the addition of another common driveway, we would probably exceed the 5,000 square foot limitation on what they can permit.
Yeah, but anytime you encroach on the wetland, you have to do wetlands reclamation.
Yes, and we do have the reclamation for the widening of the existing driveway.
How much
The
you gonna
existing,
widen-
but not the double?
How much
but
would
not
you
the-
widen the driveway?
Excuse me?
How much would you have to widen the driveway?
Approximately 9 feet, I believe.
What is it right now?
6 feet, it's 12 feet right now,
Okay,
and,
So it's only 12 feet wide right now as it is.
correct.
So this was put, the driveway was, the existing common driveway was put in prior to the current bylaw.
Correct, correct.
Okay. And why would Randy not suggest to do a flexible development with just a regular small way or road up there instead of doing it this way?
well, we first applied, and went and talked with Randy.
Yeah.
Requesting, 2 reduced frontage lots.
Okay.
Out on Gale Road. And we
Okay.
each had 5 acres, per lot.
Yeah,
And we had the whole plan set up so we could, have the 2 common driveways. And so we submitted in March to an NOI. And they went ahead and, came out to the property, conservation, and the engineer was out there, the environmental engineer. And then they left and we made the plans, changed the plans to what they recommended for us.
which
And then,
was,
there were some things that they wanted done next to the border of the driveway. And they also, we talked about, there's an area where there's an old pipe. See, this used to be the Gale Homestead Farm.
okay,
And, our family's been on the property for 78 years.
okay,
And the original farm was sold to my husband's grandfather, grandfather. And so we have other family that lives on Gale Road. And so we wanted to pass down our land, if we could, to 2 of our children, because it was passed down to us. And so, but then I got a knock on the door, and it was, the state DEP came, and they had me sign a paper, and then we went and we walked the property, and they said that because the recommended crossing was only 55 feet from the original one, that it was a red flag to the state. And so then they came, and that's what he was talking about, that it violated, we couldn't do it. He said the only way that we could move forward would be to get a written letter from,
A denial from you folks.
a denial from you guys.
To be able to convince the DEP that we've done all that we can possibly do to avoid that second crossing. I think Randy was taking the approach of the one common driveway, because it's less impactful Minor road is 28 feet of pavement, 40-foot right-of-way. Where here, we're talking 25-foot right-of-way, 18 feet of pavement, some shoulders for fire apparatus.
I guess my question to you though is that why would, he didn't recommend that that in this right of way, his recommendation more was to do this as a common driveway versus submitted under subdivision control law.
That is my understanding.
Yeah.
So
I've
why
never
did
spoke
he
to
give you a
him.
reason why? I mean, it would make more sense to me that he would create a way, and I don't know under what flexibility he has in terms of width of a way with the planning board. I mean, I think under subdivision control law in the town, was it 60 feet wide for a road?
Yeah, it's
a-
50 on a minor.
Right.
If he did a
It
flexible
but it was
development
40,
where she gave up
Right.
25% of the lot, and the reduced frontage, the land areas wouldn't work out for that kind of
because the way I looked at it was,
configuration.
is if you had to do
Where
two.
we have the dimensions, if I may, where we have the dimensional requirements for the reduced frontage lots to comply, I think that's where he was going with it, versus going through the subdivision control law and that whole process. And it would definitely be less impactful.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there. I was just kinda looking at it as like, why didn't you just do 4 lots under subdivision control and do that? You'd still only have one crossing, and to see what, I don't know what flexibility that he has on his end. In terms of, and the way I looked at it is if you had 2 common driveways, if they were gonna comply with the current bylaw, that's 36 feet anyways, so that's not too far off of the 40 feet that you would have under the flexible thing, so that's kind of, I'm like, I don't understand why we're doing this way.
I think, if we were to approach him in the aspect of doing a subdivision control law, we would probably request to waive every requirement they have in there. Your sidewalk requirements, your
Yeah.
lighting requirements, the list would be like this. Does he have the ability to grant those waivers? Who knows unless you do it, I don't know.
Have you already gotten approval for the special permit for both reduced front lots?
No, we're waiting on this approval before we go before
Have
them
you-
for the other two.
So you haven't applied for those permits yet
haven't.
either? So even if we grant a variance to you.
We still have to go through that
You may,
entire
you,
process.
you may have to go through that process and they get denied that process.
That is correct, that is correct. But before we take that step, do perimeter surveys and all that stuff, we thought the best approach was to come before you folks. Does it seem reasonable to put 4 single-family houses on one driveway, or does it not? Again, the reduced density, you're talking 1 house per 5 acres on this property, because, if they do approve it, there's no further development allowed on any of those lots.
Right,
So,
but still now, you're looking at an 18-foot way over 4 house lots.
Basically a couple hundred feet by the time
Yeah.
you split them all off, right? You got one
Yeah.
down here, 2 here, and 1 at the end.
Yeah,
So,
The first one, when you come in, my father-in-law goes straight. My
right.
father-in-law here with his
Yeah.
wife. And then
Your
the other
wetland
three.
crossing is only in the first, 50 feet of the property?
yeah, but within the first 100 anyway, yes.
Yeah.
So,
I did make a kind of real simple plan of how it is and how we'd like to see it. I don't know if anybody on the board would just like to glance at it, if you were. It's just real simple, there's a lot of lines and confusion on those there, and,
Guys, do you have any questions, comments right now? Jason? Barrett? James?
Yeah.
So, right now, there's 2 lots, correct?
correct, you're right, 2 lots
And
today.
the driveway that you're proposing, the shared driveway is gonna cross both lots?
Yes, it would. No, it wouldn't cross two, it would cross the two new ones and one of the existing.
So I don't understand how we
So
could
then-
grant a variance on lots that
Well, I
don't
think they're
exist.
gonna have to do something. I just wanna see what the grades are.
That's a
If
good
the lots
question.
don't yet exist, how do we grant a variance?
On the two properties that do exist, and it would follow lot, number 6 and number 10.
Doesn't look like there's a
So,
slow grade.
the only issue I
No,
have with
it
that is
doesn't-
that
it
in the
doesn't
zoning
mention
bylaw, it
Goes
says,
598 to
any
602.
common driveway
Yes,
serving 2 lots
602,
shall not be
604,
permitted
604.
except by special
Yeah.
permit from the
But it's
planning
not
board.
like a.
Correct.
So that's not something for that we can grant you.
Yeah, and I'm looking for you to grant that.
Just stormwater management is gonna be the big issue.
So-
Cause
so-
all of these are gonna run down here. It's gonna fill instead of going the other ways. Yeah.
Do we wanna call Mr. Meskis?
Oh, okay. Do you wanna we'll call the building inspector, zoning enforcement officer?
Okay, so,
Sorry about that.
that's all right, no.
It's deep
No,
in
you-
thought.
You guys have gotta work your way through it. If I known my colleague here was going to do that, I would. Anyway.
Right, so we're gonna put 250 foot.
So, Mr. Chairman, Kurt Meskis, Building Commissioner, Zoning Enforcement Officer, the issue here is that, the bylaw at this time only allows 2 houses to be served by a single common driveway. The wetlands did not exist, and it was, bare ground, no wetland impact at all, we wouldn't be here, because they could have created 2 sets of lots, 2 lots with 2 common driveways, and we would have been handled by the special permit in the planning board. The issue has been is that there is a wetland, a sizable wetland, I have some pictures here, and it also shows here, where they have an existing driveway, this orange, here, that crosses it. And my understanding, not being an expert on wetlands, right, I converse with all the people in that hallway all the time, and we work, with the applicant and to get to where we are, is that Conservation Commission's charge is to minimize impact to wetlands. So they consulted DEP, because anything they do actually ends up in DEP, and DEP reviews these things, and DEP looked at this issue and says, this property has already impacted these wetlands, even though it was ages ago, and further impact is not a desirable outcome from their perspective. So they don't look at the zoning issue, they're looking at the wetlands issue. I'm looking at the zoning issue and what our bylaws allow. Okay? So, as the applicant has stated and did show you, well, let's do the picture thing here, right? So here's the first page is the driveway, you can see the house, this house. On the left-hand side of that and off on the right, which you can't see here, is this other existing house here. When you look down the street, south, looking this direction, this is a hill here, and it's all wooded, and it is the frontage, the potential frontage for these newly created lots. When we get up the driveway here, we have a little stream crossing that goes across, there's a little culvert pipe there, it looks like it's been improved. The common driveway requirement is that there be a 25-foot deeded right-of-way for the portion and an 18-foot piece of pavement. And so, that is gonna impact the wetlands to widen that out to that. 9 Gale Road across the street, little ranch. 2 Gale Road, this little parcel here, looking back. And then we have the existing GIS plot where you can see the 2 lots that exist with the 2 houses on it. It's a sizable portion of land, it's quite deep. And then the next page is this drawing here shrunk down to your thing. So they're gonna do some improvements to this common driveway, maintain the driveway to existing 10, maintain the driveway to existing 6, Fire department also gets to weigh in on these because of fire access and emergency access. Worked with the applicant to create turnarounds in proximity to the houses so that if a fire apparatus was to have to service those houses, there's a place to turn around a 40-foot fire engine. So the reason they are here is that before the planning board right now cannot issue the special permit and does not have the authority to waive the requirement of 2 houses per common driveway. So the applicant is asking for a variance of that rule to allow 4 houses off the single common driveway and use the existing driveway, create 2 new lots, 2 new reduced frontage lots that meet all the requirements of the reduced frontage lots, meet the requirements of coming to proper width before they get to 600 feet. And we have no definitive length on driveways in the town of Charlton.
The common driveway bylaw says though it can't be more than 500,
Yes,
doesn't
the
it?
common portion of the driveway cannot
the
be,
common?
it doesn't say that, but that is
Doesn't
how
say
it's
that.
been opined. My opinion has
Your
always been.
opinion is that the common portion can't be more than 500.
feet.
It doesn't specify in the bylaw, I was looking at that.
Right, but after 500 feet, when you branch out, it's no longer common.
No.
So this is probably, well, I will say in my estimation, the 1 or 2 cases a year of truly having a geographical or topographical condition unique to the situation, unique to the lots, that allows the granting of a variance if we look at the technical requirement in the law. Thank you.
I do have some questions. for
Okay.
you. First is, the bylaw says that the parties will execute a maintenance agreement. Is that under the special permit with the planning board?
Yes.
Is that a condition that I need to include if we're gonna grant relief to them?
No.
Did they follow, is someone looking at that maintenance agreement prior to its recordation to make sure that it properly?
Yes, that's part of, so that's part of the special permit that we're asking to allow the special permit to be 4 driveways, okay? And it is something that the applicant will have to present to the planning board, deeded maintenance agreement with rights, deeded right-of-way with rights, okay? And pavement that's suitable to the fire department, which would be asphalt pavement.
So my next question is this, and this is, granted, this has been in the family for 4 generations. My guess is that the original farm was not 19 acres, it was a much bigger parcel. And that over time, different family members or whatever are subdividing off, whatever. And so, right now, we're looking at an 18-foot wide right-of-way over a common driveway that our bylaw intends for 2 house lots that we want now to service 4 house lots. Under normal circumstances, either they would have 2 driveways, or they would be under subdivision control law. So, my concern is, 50, 75 years now, down the road now, that maybe the same family doesn't own 1 or more of these lots, and now that you only have an 18-foot right-of-way, servicing all 4 houses, potentially could be problematic. There's a 40-foot road bylaw for a reason. It's not taken out just of a number out of a hat. So it does concern me that it's only gonna be 18 feet wide. Obviously, there's some conservation issues with the width of that as well, that is not under our control. So I don't even know where I was going with this.
So I would suggest to you that if they were to come with a subdivision plan, okay, and do a subdivision, 2 things would happen. One is there would be more houses than just these 4 allowed on that, because you figure an acre and a third apiece, and we have 19 acres, let's chop 2 out for roadways and detention basins and all that. So we could probably get 7 or 8 houses in there, I think, if I'm doing the math pretty quick.
But does one way avoid stormwater management?
Excuse me?
does one-way avoid stormwater management?
No,
No,
because stormwater management
So
is
even-
It's
still a
across the
requirement.
board.
So planning board would still set requirements for
Conservation,
stormwater or conservation?
Our stormwater management bylaw mandated by EPA through DEP requires stormwater management on all except a single less than 1 acre clearing. So if you have two lots held in common ownership, okay, that are divided and then are developed, stormwater management comes into play on those. It is
Before it goes
risen
to
to an
wetlands.
interesting issue that we are now dealing with in the town of Charlton because the size of our lots and the amount of clearing we do and the amount of multiple lots in a row. So, so I think in the end.
Is 18 feet wide enough to service 4 houses?
I think so, I don't
Can
think.
2 fire trucks pass each other on 18 feet wide? Can a
That's-
police vehicle pass?
A police tower truck probably.
A fire lane is 18 feet.
That's just one
That's just
lane.
one vehicle. I see what you're saying, so one's coming up, one's coming down.
Well,
There's your
what
bottleneck.
I'm looking at is not necessarily the fire aspect of it. I'm looking at, we grant relief today on this. And, we're all gone 75 years from now, and then 4 different people own this, and it's only 18 feet wide, and, it's just not big enough, and we've created a problem in the future that, we could potentially address today. That's why I asked, why didn't they do subdivision control right up front?
Gotcha.
I mean, I could suggest we go wider, I mean, you do have
Can
in your
we'll
flexible development, you got 22 feet of pavement. We could meet you somewhere there.
Will conservation approve a wider thing with your
If it's
wetland?
our only choice, yes.
You
In
can claim a
the
hardship
one
with them.
single versus, 2.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
I
still
think-
22 feet's less than 36.
Yeah,
Right.
So that's the issue here one of the issues is varying silos of authority. And each silo of authority is looking to, in the case of conservation, minimize impact on wetlands. Planning board is trying to look at not creating de facto subdivisions by allowing multiple houses off of one driveway. And we do have an example of that happened in town 30 years ago, where 4 houses were created on a singular common driveway. There was nothing in the bylaw at that time that talked about a deeded maintenance agreement, nothing about pavement, nothing about who was going to plow it, nothing about all those issues. And when I came into this position, they were still dealing with that issue 20 years ago about, well, you gotta make them do something, and it's like, no, you bought this.
right, yeah, I remember
And we
that.
changed the bylaw
Right,
to address that situation so it didn't happen on a regular basis. You know, so.
gentlemen, do you have any questions for the engineer, for Kurt?
I don't have any questions.
Rob? Eric?
I guess the only thing I gotta ask is, the existing shared driveway that comes in now goes around the wetlands. Are you proposing that these 2 new driveways are gonna go over the wetlands separately, or are they gonna still go the same path?
Same path, they will peel off of the existing
Yeah.
that goes over to number 6.
So you'll only be affecting the high side of the wetlands?
Correct, yeah, just the upper.
So, Mr. McGrath, the existing driveway is this orange color here, and of course, I colored the wetlands blue. I used blue for something else first, and I said, whoops, I gotta do this over, because wetlands have gotta be blue. And the two pink lines are the new driveways.
The
So
start
they're-
of the new?
Yeah, they're coming off the existing infrastructure.
Thank you.
So really, the width issue is just once before the driveways start branching off.
Right, right, I mean, once
So
the
you don't
driveway
have a
starts branching off,
bottleneck
it
right
doesn't really
there.
make any difference. I just think that,
Yeah, no,
if I was buying a piece of say these houses were already built and then one of these back lots is for sale,
yeah.
you know, typical subdivision, you would have a road to where it's split off or whatever, that's a lot more readily accessible. You know, you can't, I'm not saying that anyone's gonna park in the common area there, but, you know, 18 feet wide is not super wide, considering a road in the town right now under traditional subdivision bylaw is 60 feet wide, so.
Right.
We're looking at 1/3 of the size of what a road should be, and then under a flexible development, it's 40 feet, and so it's double what they're asking for in terms of width.
But am I correct that none of that falls under our authority? They're just asking for a variance, saying that they can have 4 houses from one
So we can grant a
common?
variance, but there can be conditions on it if it's a safety issue or, you know, something like that. So we feel that there's some sort of condition that we can put on there, you know, it's, you know, that.
Well, I guess I'm wondering if the other departments, they're the ones that then, like, are we gonna be stepping on what they do when they go through their process of saying, well, okay, here's how wide it is, are we doing double
So I think
work?
with the planning board, it's not gonna make, to them, wouldn't probably make a lot of difference in, when they apply for that special permit. The common driveway says in our bylaw that a common driveway needs to be 18 feet wide. And that's why I think they're proposing to increase it 6 feet, because it's only 12 feet wide right now.
Yeah.
And the current bylaw says that it needs to be 18 feet wide. But the bylaw also is designed to serve 2 houses
houses.
and not 4. So we're doubling the traffic on that common driveway, but not necessarily taking into account, you know, the width of that driveway either in the common area.
All right, so then, yeah, I see where you're going.
The problem that they have is, and this has no control over us, is if we as a board say, yeah, we'll grant it, but we want that driveway to be, you know, different number than 18, then they have to deal with conservation or whatever other board, and hopefully that they agree that they're willing to accept that.
Right.
So, my take on it is very similar to Garrett's, and, you know, we're looking at a very narrow portion of this. It's obviously a complicated situation, but again, the variance request is, can they have 4 houses served by a single driveway instead of 2? And I think they've provided some substantial hardships
So let me ask you this question.
from fire department, from conservation as well. And to your point, when they go in front of planning board for reduced frontages, then if planning board deems fit to adjust widths of the road, then that's
I
within
don't-
their
I don't-
purview.
I don't think that they have any flexibility in that part. And let me ask you this, if this was a builder and they were gonna put 2 houses in there and sell them to third parties, would
It's
you have a
different
different?
though.
Why is it different?
I'll say, well, go ahead.
Yeah, my answer was, no, it wouldn't make any difference to me,
Okay.
because the person that's buying that
They know
is
it.
seeing that shared driveway, and,
Okay.
and maybe that detracts from the ultimate value in the long run, but that just is what it is.
He took the words out of my mouth. My opinion is this is family, they've had this land forever, they know what they're getting into. 70 years from now, if they choose to sell and whatever happens, they move to Florida and life's good, the people that are buying those properties know they're buying property with a shared driveway, that's on them. I hate shared driveways, I would not do it. I would only do it with family, I would have no issue.
Right, and I
But I
don't-
wouldn't buy a house with a shared driveway for that
So-
reason.
Yeah.
So
So here's my issue with that is, people that are not in this world
Yeah.
aren't gonna think of that stuff. Their realtors aren't gonna think of that kind of stuff, the safety issues of fire apparatus going up and down the road, and, like, they're not gonna know what to be concerned about because of it.
So they've submitted in their package a letter from the fire chief saying that this is the best plan that he's seen on this.
So far, yeah,
So
submitted, yeah.
I think that,
That doesn't make
I'm
it
fine with
good.
the safety issue from that perspective. If fire chief says it's okay, then it's okay by me. And again, I don't wanna get into that. I mean, I think most of the roads in Charlton aren't 18 feet wide, it seems like.
No, but I
So-
mean, but that doesn't mean that we're just like, well, the hell with it, and we'll do whatever we want, you know?
No.
But again,
yeah.
my thought is we're gonna allow a variance for them to have up to 4 houses for this particular lot, and that's it, and they've given us, I think, substantial evidence to support it.
I think to Kurt's point that we're here because of the wetlands concern around this. Correct, and that no reason, like, beyond that, widening it for a potential safety purpose and for future peoples that are agreeing to buy the land if it's divided in the future, I don't think should really factor into the equation.
But when
If
we
the
grant
concern-
something, it stays, like, this is.
I understand,
yeah,
it
right.
it follows the property.
Right, so, like, I understand right now that the family owns that may not always be the case. You know, so if there is a potential, a legitimate potential, like, I don't know, you know, I'm not saying that just pulling stuff out of the air or whatever. If the board thinks that there's a legitimate potential issue with, you know, the way that this is structured or whatever, then we need to take that into account if we decide to grant relief. And not just say, well, you know, this is family members or whatever, and they're gonna build it or whatever, because who knows what's gonna happen 10 or 15 or 20 years down the road, or 100 years down the road for that matter. And,
Yeah, but again, I think, like, being a responsible adult buying a house in the future, that's on you. Like, that's not me, I'm not gonna sit here and dictate what people choose to buy and not buy. And I'm not trying to minimize it, but
no,
if you're in the,
I understand what
you
you're
know,
saying.
if you're a 25 or 30-year-old person and you're looking for a house and there's a shared driveway, you know what you're getting. You know there's a common driveway. You can see it when you walk to the property. No, but I'm just saying, it's just one of those things, where if you don't, shame on you. Like,
Shane, I wish I had all responsible adults
no,
buying
no,
houses.
but we deal with shared property issues, shared driveway issues all the time in
I know
my
you
job. And there's a lot of issues out there in the general public now.
We have a
But-
lot of folks here, do we wanna see if there's any abutters?
So, if there's a butter issues or whatever you wanna do with
Okay,
that.
we'll do the roll call. Anybody from conservation here? Planning board, selectmen, clerk's office, board of health, assessors, tax collectors, economic development, senior center, school district. We have a letter included in the packet from the fire, Captain Dennis Carlson from the fire department already in our packet, police department, anybody on the board, commission. Is there any abutters, persons of interest, residents that have any comments on the petition before us tonight? Nobody?
I'll just rise and say two things. One is there is a letter that was delivered by conservation. I think it is in your packet.
Oh, I didn't see it. Yeah, I didn't see it in the packet when I was reading through it.
I didn't read it, I know it's written.
I saw the one from the fire department.
You're right.
I didn't see the conservation one.
I think it's
It was right after Kurt's letter? Oh, okay. Yeah, I got it there.
Think we need a bigger tape?
All right, so conservation's letter in the application recommends considering the variance request. The fire department, they reviewed the proposed common driveway, and this is the most agreeable version that they have reviewed. The length of the driveway remains a concern to them, but this is agreeable.
They do say in here too, they say, construction and maintenance of a new roadway or driveway of minimal, legal, practical width acceptable to the planning board. Which,
But again, that's from a conservation.
that's from the conservation.
Which
Well,
it
yeah,
sounds
which
like they
the-
want it wide.
Minimize, avoid,
Yeah.
minimize, mitigate, that's.
Yeah, cause, I mean, the more you widen it also, the more you impact the wetlands too, so they're gonna, conservation and planning board are gonna have to make their decisions on the
Right,
way
and
they
that's
would
not
like it.
necessarily a zoning issue.
No,
Right.
that's not the issue we gotta worry about.
I think I was,
They're gonna address it.
yeah, I was putting it more to, call out the planning board to set that minimum width.
I'm not sure they can though.
Interesting.
Well, so my comment, sir, is that, well, the minimal width of the common driveway by bylaw is 18 feet. So you're
Correct.
gonna have at least that
Right.
in a right-of-way that's 25 feet wide. So you're gonna have to have some shoulders there. There's gonna be some widening around that culvert, as I understand it, to be able to do that. And And if the board would consider maybe to alleviate some of the concern is then just say, have a 20-foot wide way, right? That gives you two 10-foot lanes, okay? Cars, 7.5, 8 feet, okay, a
Let-
giant SUV.
Yeah, I mean, that's up to the board, I mean, I'm just throwing it out there,
Right, but
yeah.
I'm just making
Yeah.
sense. Fire engine, okay, if we have a fire, if the fire department comes to a fire,
Yeah,
we have tactics, I'm retired, but we have tactics and strategies on long driveways for putting hose in the street. That's why there are turnarounds shown up here so that the apparatus can turn around, and they're gonna mitigate the incident. Traffic is not gonna be a problem.
I'm not worried about traffic on the road, that's not, I'm not worried.
Well, even within this, there's a turnaround,
At the intersection.
There is
at
a,
the intersection,
and
too.
and then there's a proposed turner, I saw that in there, that's gonna stay in there.
So a fire engine comes with about 1,000 feet of hose on it. This driveway is 1,100 feet long, this driveway is 860 feet long, you know,
Yeah.
they can handle it.
Yeah.
So the biggest concern I hear you say is when the property changes hands, which it will, okay? And if two people are coming and going in regular cars, 18 feet would be a little tight,
Yeah,
20 feet would give them plenty of passing room.
Yeah, or if you got, like, say, if someone you sell the lot, and then you got a neighbor up front having a party and they can't get into the back, then you have issues there, but.
Well,
that's-
people parking on the,
Right? So, I mean, wider helps.
that stuff, that stuff happens.
It does. Those are very long driveways. You have to stack a lot of cars in that
Doesn't happen
driveway.
at all.
Yeah,
You got
no,
1,100
no,
yeah, but not for the house that's
That's
right
just-
in the front.
That's just future,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but,
No,
Can you do 20 feet? Is that possible?
It
to
can
do
be
that?
proposed to the conservation, yes, I mean, I don't think the 2 feet would make that much of a difference, you know? You're gonna go 18 feet with 3-foot shoulders, or you're gonna go 20 feet with 2-foot shoulders? You know, so you can play that, you're not
Same thing, it's just a shell
really,
game.
exactly.
Yeah, that feels arbitrary to me to go from 18 to 20.
How did they choose 18 to begin with?
Hopefully there was science behind it, I don't know.
the minimum of what you can possibly.
Well, that's
try.
that's why I brought it up, I'm like, they must have figured 18 for two houses for a reason. That it's not just kind of, you know, someone had the dartboard out that day, you know.
If I could add,
Yeah,
when you're looking at this common driveway aspect of this whole thing, and you lose one house right off the bat, I mean, as soon as you cross the brook, one's off.
right,
And then shortly thereafter, the next one's off.
yeah.
Now you're down to
Two,
your
right.
intent of
And really,
18
the
feet.
only,
So-
the only issue would be is just in that first 100 feet of the common, that's really the only issue.
Correct.
The two lots in the back, even if they're not under familial ownership or whatever, they're only gonna have issue with that small common area in the front, and I
Right.
understand that, yeah.
Yeah, and then even those longer driveways, I mean, that's not uncommon for that neighborhood either, I mean, the property.
No, there's a
next
number of
door
houses, there's
is way
another
up
house
there in the
next
back.
door that's
Way
even
up
further
there.
back, yeah, I saw
And-
that.
And we were talking amongst ourselves in the office, I mean, putting pull-offs along those longer driveways is an easy option. I mean, every 300 feet or so, you get a vehicle off the road, because those are only gonna be 12 feet wide. you know.
Right.
So, that is in the plan, we are thinking about it, so.
Ready to move forward?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, so I wanna make a motion to close the public portion of this hearing.
I'll make a motion.
Shane makes the motion.
second, third.
Garrett, second. Jason, sorry about that.
Doesn't matter.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. I'm not necessarily opposed to this. I'm just bringing up the points that I think that, just, looking at all these different things. So it's not, it's a matter like, I definitely think that we should not do this. The fact that the planning board, the building inspector, conservation has already looked at this, the fire department or whatever, puts me definitely at ease versus doing something else. Cause like I said, when I looked at this plan, I'm like, why wouldn't they just put a road in and not have to deal with all this? It doesn't really make, cause you'd still only have one wetland crossing if that was the case. So why do this complex thing?
The cost of putting in all the structures and everything down the road all the way up for your drainage and.
Right, but I mean, you're looking at, like I said, is if you were doing two common driveways, if you look at this one right here, you're doing two common driveways, I'm
Yeah.
like, those are 18 feet each, why, that's 36 feet, like, why are
It's
these
easier
doing
to
a four?
do than put structures underneath the ground and
Maybe
put
so.
piping and doing all that.
But that's not a that's not a
huge
zoning
amount of
issue.
distance. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a zoning issue.
So the zoning issue is just that we would have to give a variance to say that they can service 4 houses.
Two driveways.
No, no, that we would allow,
Or one drive.
we would grant the variance to increase the,
From 2
two to four,
for this,
according to the
property.
plan, and the hardship would be that there is substantial wetland crossing that prevents them from doing this in any other way.
Well, it's
Cause
less
like
than
Kurt said, is that, you know, the whole purpose of the common driveway bylaw is not to try to like create these de facto subdivisions by doing all these driveways.
Yeah.
And there's other towns, I've dealt with another town that the common driveway or retreat driveway, like they don't allow them like within like 100, sometimes more feet of each other to prevent like these pork chop lots of these, you know, these things, there's all these retreat rear lots with these driveways in them, and they don't allow them, you know, within
Yeah.
so many feet of each other. Our town doesn't do that, so, which is not really a big deal in my opinion, but. So, yeah, the only reason why that we would do this is because of the hardship that there are substantial wetlands in the front, and they couldn't possibly put another driveway in there without, you know, there would be definite hardship on it.
And then once we do it, then it goes to the planning board.
Yeah, yeah. One thing though, I just wanna make sure that there is a recorded maintenance agreement in there, so,
Yeah.
cause I mean, Jake, you even know this, is that aside from the fact that you wanna make sure that it's maintained as a common area, even traditional lending won't finance without some sort of agreement anyways.
Oh, right, that's it.
Yeah.
The planning board's already given me 2 example copies. and I-
Okay.
And if we have to, which we probably will, consult an attorney.
Yeah,
And so he can, you know, probably familiar with them anyway, but he can look at the 2, because they're a little bit different, and he could, you know, combine it. But I know that's a requirement. It's on my list if this went through.
so does someone wanna make a motion? Do you wanna have more discussion? One of you guys are gonna vote on this? Garrett,
Yes, I'll take this.
is everyone okay with this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
Ready to move forward. so,
Yeah.
We'll do it.
Questions, Bob?
What, do you miss some random question? Do with
I do
anything?
kind of miss that.
All right,
You know, I was thinking the same thing.
I'll make a motion
Happy
to,
you're making it. That's gonna be a tough one.
thank you. Yeah, I'll make the motion, grant the variance to the applicant. Variance from section 200-4-2
You already
D8,
did that. You already-
that the common driveway shall be allowed for 4 one-family dwellings. As submitted in the plan with the package.
Was this, hold on, was this submitted with us? Which one?
No, that was not.
Did you wanna name, cause there was more than one plan in there, so you just wanna make sure we name the
Yeah,
correct
reference
plan.
it. Okay. All right, with the plan submitted, excuse me, plan dated September 19th, 2023, from Topper Land Survey, that was submitted with the applicant's package. The finding of the hardship being the Of course, necessary wetland intrusion needed to make 2 driveways to serve 2 houses that would conform to the bylaws as written. And again, with the letter submitted from the conservation agent and also from the fire chief stating that they are in support of this plan.
Karen maintenance, you mentioned that too.
Will it be subject to a special permit approval and from the, well, it won't make a difference, just that the common driveway shall have a recorded maintenance agreement, subject to review and approval by, the planning board.
We're making that a condition of the variance?
Do you want to?
Yeah, sure. With the added condition that the applicants will go forward to the planning board, for the 2 reduced frontage lots to make 4, lots overall.
Shared driveway plan, maintenance.
Yeah,
agreement.
that'll be part of the planning board. Right.
Second.
Garrett has a second on that.
Any
Okay,
discussion?
any discussion? Which one of you guys is gonna vote? Garrett's voting, I'm not voting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. So, the variance will be, submitted to the town clerk. There's a 20-day appeal period that needs to be awaited. After the 20 days is up, if no one opposes it or appeals it, then, the clerk's office will give you a call. You need to come down, get the plan, get the variance. You're gonna record the entire variance at the registry of deeds, and then bring it back to whatever
We
next step.
submit it to the board. Planning
Yeah,
board, when we-
planning board, whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you
Thanks.
very much.
Good luck.
I appreciate it.
All right, so we have old business.
Did Mary get this plan that they just gave us?
I gave her a
Yeah,
copy.
you gave her a copy, yeah. That's done.
We have, I think, just minutes to approve, right?
All right, I got a couple of things.
That's a lot of paperwork.
One of the other business. Do you think we should be saying the Pledge of Allegiance when we start the meeting?
Only if you're gonna stand up and do it.
Well, of course you'd stand up.
I'm saying, but you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just
You're gonna lead it?
I know some boards do.
The town council does itself, the boards don't.
The boards don't?
No.
The council meetings do.
I went to a conservation meeting in another town last month, and, they did it. It's up to you guys, I don't.
I say no.
No, we're waiting for,
Well, we can sing God Bless America. We used to do that.
Frank
We used to do
sings.
that in elementary school.
the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah, and then we would sing. I don't even think they do that in school any, yeah, they don't do the Pledge of Allegiance anymore.
I don't know, do they?
No.
No, they don't?
I'm okay with the way things are.
I make a motion to accept the meeting minutes from, last meeting? as
Second.
written.
Is there a second on that?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Is there any other business that it's unknown as of the time of publication? Nope, is there a motion to adjourn?
I have one question.
Yeah,
I sent an email today, we got another application.
yeah.
Can you guys all attend the meeting on January 16th? The other next meeting would be January 2nd, and I'm not gonna be here, so.
I'll do January 2nd.
Isn't
January
that,
16th.
that's not a Saturday, is
The
it?
16th,
Tuesday.
I'll be in Montana skiing.
I've already hid in the woods long enough.
Dave, Montana was flat.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
You'll be here.
I'll be here.
Okay.
I'm available.
If that's the right weekend.
Shoot anything yet?
Well.
I didn't go out at all.
Do without me.
You gonna be gone that week too?
Gonna be gone that week. I'm going on
Semi-retired.
vacation in April, and I probably have 2 more weeks that I have to deal with too. You should have about 5 weeks vacation too, Mary, by now.
Hey, look what a guy
And now I'm
got.
just looking to figure out what to do with them. Shane, you already said you were doing it.
The city, I'm gonna be in Big Sky.
I can do that
And
week,
it's not Charlton.
or that day, rather.
You got that?
Okay.
The guy, chief, he was in
Jason, you
Quabbin.
said
Yeah, he's a friend of
I
my
did.
brother-in-law.
Dan Cooley.
Yeah.
He's a good man.
Yeah.
Signed that.
I already saw that picture last
Yeah,
week.
he's like a minor celebrity. I was with him
Oh,
on
really?
Friday.
Yeah.
He was like
Motion
signing
to
autographs.
adjourn?
Oh, sorry.
Motion to
Do we
adjourn,
settle on the 16th?
16th is fine with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, motion to adjourn, second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.